and welcome. This is the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I am Agarwal. These are the top headlines. Global cues jitter Indian markets as Nifty Sensex snap their 7-day gaining streak. Nifty slips below 10,950. Volatility declines. Open interest surges in Ujjivan Financial as traders take fresh long positions in its stock futures. Hindalco and Vedanta are the worst Nifty performers today after the Trump administration hints at the possibility of listing sanctions of Rusal, creating concerns of a supply glut. And the government will announce a new recapitalization plan for public sector banks today. But addressing the issue at hand, the Trump administration is ready to move sanctions on Russian billionaire Oleg Deripaska's and aluminum company Rusal. This is after Deripaska's agreed to reduce a stake in the company. Martin Ritchie of Bloomberg News joins us more. Martin, end of sanctions is big news for Rusal and the entire market.
Yes, very big for Rusal, big for the market. It's been one of the most important metals stories really of this year, and it seems to be coming to an end with the US agreeing with Rusal on some terms for the company to avoid sanctions. Just to go back, Rusal probably produces about 10% of world supply. So when the sanctions threat was raised back in April, this really sent prices skyrocketing, buyers scrambling to find alternative supplies, and prices are really going up very fast. We've seen this morning the market reaction. Rusal shares up as much as 27% in Hong Kong. Good news for those investors. Aluminium prices sliding a bit because, as you said, it means there's more focus now on the supply side for aluminium.
And also, does this change the outlook for aluminum and put focus back on China?
Yeah, it does. It puts focus back on China and just more broadly on the supply balance around the world. As I said, you were looking at maybe 10% of supply being cut out because of Rusal, but that was really, 6 months ago. People were worried about that. Since then, you've had multiple extensions for Rusal. They've avoided the full weight of sanctions, and people were really discounting the fact that they were ever going to be implemented. And so you've seen prices softening and softening. And what you're seeing now is, hold on, let's go back to the fundamentals. Let's go back to what's happening in China. Now there, you've got demand slowing because of a weaker economy in the manufacturing and property and auto. There's a lot of uncertainty about what's going to happen with demand next year, and so that's feeding through into sentiment across metals. The prices are falling. 16th month low this morning for aluminium.
Right, Martin, thanks for joining us and taking us through the latest updates. So with respect to Rusal, of course, we're going to have to wait and watch for the implications for some of these aluminum stocks in India as well. And as you can see, National Aluminum as well as Hindalco are certainly reacting to some of these developments. But we'll move on and take a look at the markets, the derivatives markets specifically at this point in time. And what we're looking at is some amount of weakness in the benchmark indices. When it comes to, well, something like the Nifty, we're looking at very little change in open interest. Of course, don't forget, as far as your Nifty is concerned, currently still at a 10-point premium, but marginally in the red. Let's bring up the Nifty bank futures as well. And this is another trend that has seen a continuation because we are seeing another 6.5% increase in open interest in the Nifty bank futures, even as the underlying remains largely flattish, marginally in the red. The India VIX, however, has come off, despite the fact that we are looking at a little bit of weakness in the benchmarks. Do you remember it's fallen from levels of around 19-20 from a few weeks ago to now at 14, and it continues to fall. This is clearly a contraction in option premiums. This is, of course, after a lot of events have passed us by. When it comes to your open interest change, well, it is the 11,000 mark, which is the most active, while we see more writing in the 11,000 call. Well, understandably, a little more profit taking, should I say, unwinding in the 11,000 put. that brings me to where we see max OI across all options. And at this point in time, not too much has changed. And as I was suggesting earlier, while the maximum open interest between the 10,500 put and the 10,800 put continues to toggle, well, the 11,000 call is the one with the max OI at this point in time, and that continues to remain so, at least in the near term. But with that, let's also pull up the stocks which are looking at a substantial increase in open interest, perhaps, and seeing a lot of traction. Ujjivan Financial is one of them, and as I've suggested earlier, it continues to climb. BEML is the other one, which has gained a lot of traction recently. SRF, again looking at longs, up around 1.5% at 2,265. Nalco, on the other hand, is looking at a drop of around 3%, and we are seeing some shorts building in, we're seeing as we are in Apollo Tyres as well. Let's take a look at those stocks which are seeing unwinding, and I'm sure there aren't too many in that list, but there is DCB Bank, which is seeing a bout of longs unwind, although the underlying has declined by just as much less than 0.5%. So we'll be watching out for some of these. On that note, I'm going to bring in our experts on the show, but before that, here's a reminder: if you have any queries regarding futures and options markets, you can call us now on 022454044141, or of course write to us on Twitter, Facebook, or with the AskBQ hashtag. Of course, YouTube's also in the fray. And well, on that note, I'm going to welcome in our F&O experts for the day. We have Ashish Chaturmohta of Sanctum Wealth, who joins us in the studio here, and Aditya Agarwal of V2 Wealth Securities, also here with us. Good morning to both of you. Ashish, I'm going to start with you. Well, the Nifty is where it is right now, around 10,900. It has been hovering around. I know that you don't want to, or you want to refrain from giving us a strategy, but what's your view here? What's the outlook?
Good morning, Agam. So, we have already seen a strong uptick, but if you look at, today's move, we opened lower, but we are, clearly making days high. So that's a good sign. The reason being, if you look at technically, the entire fall, which we have seen from 11,790 to almost 10,000 odd zone, the 50% retracement comes around 10,900 odd levels. So there we are continuously taking support, since we have given a breakout above that level. Now, 11,000 is a critical point, because in derivatives data we are seeing call writing happening at 11,000. So broadly there's a range 10,900 to 11,000. What is the trade? If it crosses about 11,000, then that is a decisive buy, because at that point of time you can keep 10,940, 950 as your trading stop loss, and upside towards 10,140, 150 could not be, but 11,140, 150 could not be ruled out. But in case if we see a breakdown below 10,900, then I think selling pressure could intensify towards 10,750 zone. So exactly we are in a mid of the range, so it's no point taking any aggressive bets in Nifty. Wait for a clear breakout either beyond 11,000 odd zone, or breakdown below 10,900 to initiate any fresh long or short.
Okay, and as Ashish has been suggesting, we're about 30 points away from 10,900 and about 70 odd points away from 11,000. So these levels are not really too far away. So if you are willing to remain patient, then, well, it would serve you right and serve you well. But with that, I'll bring in Aditya as well. Aditya, good morning to you. What is your view and what is your approach to these benchmarks at this point in time?
Morning. Well, definitely means if we see Nifty, then on higher side 11,000 remains a very important resistance level for Nifty, as we have seen aggressive call writing on those levels. So that level, we will see some supply around those levels. But yes, overall structure for market is looking slightly bullish. So we are advising our clients to initiate long positions. That is for next 1 or 2 trading sessions. Only if Nifty futures comes around 10,915 levels. So another 25-30 points correction in Nifty, then one can initiate long position with a stop loss of 10,880. But on higher side, 10,990, 11,000 is the level which we are looking for to book profit. Yes, if Nifty breaks 11,000 levels and sustains above that, then we can see some additional short covering move. In that move, Nifty may probably test 11,120 to 11,180 levels. But as of now, 11,000 will act as a very strong resistance level, and booking profit in long position is advisable around those levels. And if Nifty comes on 10,900 odd levels, then one can initiate long position with 20 to 30 points stop loss.
Okay, there you have it. So two very clear points of views in order to, well, tackle the movements of the Nifty 50 right now. But we'll shift focus to stocks. And Ashish, coming back to you, what stocks are you betting on today?
Yeah, so I think first one would be a long on, I would like to add this as a fresh long because Jubilant Food has given a fresh breakout, very strong open interest addition. This could be initiated as a buy idea. 1340 would be my trading stop loss. On upside, 1420 is a target I'm expecting in Jubilant Food. Second call would be on BEL, Bharat Electronics, where we are seeing consistent rise in last 3-4 trading sessions. So, and then the stock has crossed an important resistance point above 86. So I'm expecting a good amount of short covering in the stock, which can take it towards 93-94 zone. So this is a buy with a stop below 86 levels. PVR is one stock which has given a very strong breakout on a monthly chart with 7% open interest addition in today's trading session after consolidating for last 5 trading sessions. So I think this is a buy. 1560 is a stop loss, 1640 is a target I'm expecting in PVR. And ICICI Bank is one stock which is in a very strong uptrend, consistently building positions on every dips.
Right.
So I think this is one stock where one can initiate a long. 356 would be my trading stop loss. On upside, 380 is a short-term target I'm expecting in ICICI Bank as well.
Okay, so a whole host of stocks out there which Ashish has given us on. But Aditya, what about you? I believe you have one long and one short for us this morning.
Well, yes, means I have a short call in Bharat Finance. Means if we see Bharat Finance, in yesterday's trade, stock added some short position from higher levels. It is not taking the resistance zone of 1060, and we are continuously seeing some pressure from those levels. So I'm expecting that stock may test 980, 975 levels. So aggressive traders can short at current levels with a stop loss of 1032, and if someone is little bit less aggressive, then they can sell below 1015 in futures with target of 980 and stop loss of 1020. My second call will be a buy call in Z Entertainment. Means if we see Z in last 2-3 days, stock has seen a good correction, but overall structure for the stock is quite positive, and it is not breaking its support zone of 450, 455 levels. And it means if we see at yesterday's session also, stock took some support on those levels, and we saw sharp recovery from 450, 455 odd levels. So from current levels, this reward ratio is clearly in favor of buyers. One can initiate long positions with a stop loss of 455 and target of 495.
All right, there you have it, some of those stock calls coming in. And with that, I'm going to pull up some stocks that I have, taken notice of at this point in time. And I think Ujjivan Financial is one of them because we've started to see some amount of traction build in for the past couple of days for Ujjivan Financial. The stock is up and about right now, and its open interest has surged around 16%. And of course, this is largely because of the RBI's move and the OMO. Now, this is a picture of your intraday VWAP as far as Ujjivan is concerned. It's currently at around 265, and basically it's currently much higher than its VWAP level. But I'm going to toss it over to Ashish to take his view at this point in time. Ashish, what's your view, and what would you do with Ujjivan Financial right now?
So it has given a good breakout on a very short-term chart frame, and it has been steadily rising for last couple of few trading sessions. So I think this breakout, which has taken place at around 265, 266, has a potential to take the stock towards 280 odd zone. So keeping that in mind, one should keep 258 as in trading stop loss. 280, 282 would be a short-term target in Ujjivan Financials.
Okay, so that's as far as Ujjivan Financial is concerned. My other stock is Nalco. Now, of course, as we've been discussing through the course of the show, that we are likely to see some traction come through for stocks like Nalco. And Nalco is currently trending downwards at this point in time, and we are seeing more open interest increase as far as Nalco is concerned. Now, it's currently at around 62. It is declining, but on an intraday basis, the VWAP at this point in time is 61.67, according to the indications of the Bloomberg terminal. As you can see on your screen there, we are it's currently trending slightly higher than its VWAP level of 61.67. So I'm going to toss it over to Aditya and take his view on Nalco. Aditya, we have seen weakness right now, but would you go long, short, or avoid any trade in National Aluminium?
Well, if we see Nalco, then means the last 1 or 2 weeks back, stock gave a breakdown below 65, 66 level, which was a crucial support zone. And after that, stock tested 58, 59. Means in this recent rally, which we saw in last 1.5 weeks, stock tested 65, 66 level, but it failed to sustain above that. And now again, we are seeing some short position getting built up in National Aluminium. So overall structure for the stock is still looking weak. So I won't go long in this counter. If stocks see some pullback, if this comes in the zone of 63, 63. 20 levels, then again it's a good shorting opportunity with a stop loss of 65.50. On lower side, 60 will be the first target and 58 will be the next target in this counter. So I won't be going long in this counter. Any pullback I will be using to initiate short positions.
All right, there you have it. That's the view on Nalco. Now, moving on to the other stock which has been buzzing in trade, and the one which I wanted to address was Balkrishna Industries. Now, the thing with Balkrishna Industries is, of course, it's buzzing because of the fall in crude, which bodes well for the entire tire sector, and Balkrishna Industries are, well, no exception to that. And we have seen an advance of around 3.5%. There, open it is surging by as much as 10.5%, and it's currently at around 964. Let's bring up the intraday VWAP here as well, and according to this one, your VWAP stands at around 955. That's the level indicated by the Bloomberg terminal. I'm looking at its chart right now, and it is well below its crucial daily moving averages as well. That is the 50, 100 and 200 daily moving averages. However, it's making an inch up towards that mark of the 50 DMA. It hasn't really breached that level yet, and we'll take a stock of what's going on out here. So Ashish, what's your reading here in Balkrishna Industries? What would you do with this one?
So yes, today 10% open interest addition is there. Stock has crossed almost last 2 weeks high, which is a good sign. Some upward rally towards 990, 995 is what one can expect in Balkrishna Industries, and for that I think now 954 should be kept as a trading stop loss for any long positions. But I think since the uptick has already been observed, we need to see some more momentum in the second half, and for that I think once the stock sustains about 970, that will be a second confirmation that the stock is trending in a positive trend. Okay,
we actually had a viewer query here. Pankaj Joshi wanted a view on Balkrishna, so I hope that serves you well with Ashish's view on Balkrishna Industries. But moving on to perhaps another aluminium stock that I want to address, and that is Hindalco. Now, Hindalco again, it is really under pressure for reasons already mentioned. Hindalco is looking at a, well, I wouldn't say a consolidation, but well, it's been largely range bound between, I would say, something like a 230 on the upside and around 210 odd in the last few days on the downside. It is declining in trade today. It was in at a little bit of an up move in the previous few days, but I reckon today's decline may have spoiled the party for Hindalco and a whole host of aluminium stocks. Let's bring up the VWAP as well, if possible, and take a look at what levels we need to keep an eye on as far as Hindalco is concerned. And on an intraday level, it's 221, so it's exactly at its volume weighted average price for as far as Hindalco is concerned. I'll toss it back to you, Aditya. How would you approach Hindalco at this point in time?
Well, we see Hindalco, unlike Nalco, the overall structure is quite positive. It is not breaking its support zone, as you mentioned, 210, 212 levels. And multiple times stock has tested those levels, and we have seen a good recovery. So rather than shorting, I would look to buy this counter if it comes in the zone of 216, 217. So another 5-6 rupees dip in the counter can be utilized to initiate long positions. Not a big target on higher side, but yes, 230 to 235 are the possible target with this stock and test. So rather than selling on higher levels, I would look to buy Hindalco around 215, 16 levels.
Okay, let's move on and talk about, well, get in our viewer queries very quickly. The first one comes from Kishore on YouTube. He says he's bought Grasim at 868. Please suggest a stop loss. And if I wish to hold until expiry, that's the question. He wishes to hold until expiry. He's looking at about an 18-odd point loss at this point, considering his entry price is 868 and it's currently trading at around 850, 851. Ashish, what would you advise him to do? Exit or well, hold on.
So I think 844 is something which you need to keep as a trading stop loss. If the stock breaks 844, then the possibility of stock hitting 830 is high. 844 should be the stop loss. If 844 is not breached, then he can get a good pullback towards 865, 867 zone. Ideally, there he can look for exiting his long position.
But what's the trend here?
It's sideways.
It's sideways. All right. Okay. Moving on to the next one, we take one on Yes Bank. Well, always a viewer favorite here, and this one comes from Arpit Bansal. It's on YouTube. Well, key levels to watch out for Yes Bank. Let's pull up Yes Bank. Let's take a look at how it's doing. It's advancing, of course, and it has gained a lot of traction from the levels of around 160 odd. It's now at 185 through the course the last couple of weeks, and seeing some amount of longs coming in through as well. Aditya, how would you advise the viewer to go about Yes Bank?
Well, Yes Bank is in recovery mode. I think this stock can test 195 to 200 levels in the next few trading sessions. So from these levels, I think one should buy this counter on any dip rather than making short positions. At current levels, also one can initiate long positions with a stop loss of 181, and on higher side, 195 will be the first target. If that is broken, 200 will be the second target of hindsight.
All right, we've been getting quite a few questions on Tata Power. We have one more from Balakumar, and he wants a view on Tata Power's December series. Let's pull up Tata Power. Let's take a look at what it's doing right now, while I also pull up some other variables and take a look at what its crucial level is. So it's at around 78.75. I'm looking at some of the other variables. In this case, it's VWAP at around intraday VWAP, of course, 77.9. That's where the whereabouts for as far as the volume weighted average is concerned. And again, it's just slightly, ever so slightly above its 200 daily moving average as well. Ashish, coming down to you again, what would you do with Tata Power at this point?
Yeah. So, Tata Power, I think some base is getting created at around 76 odd levels, and till 76 is not breached, there is a possibility it might try to see 82, 83 levels. But broadly, we need to understand the stock is in a range. Until we don't see a decisive move beyond 83, 84, it's going to trade sideways between 76 to 82, 83 on upside.
Right. Okay. That's coming in on Tata Power, and I think we have just maybe one or two more queries. So I'm going to address MCX, and Rahul wants to know about a target and a stop loss for MCX, and I'm assuming that he is long on MCX at this point. It's not doing too much. There is very little traction in the underlying, or for that matter, the change in open interest. Can we have the last 1 month performance perhaps and take a look at how MCX has done? It's at around 731.6. That's as far as its December futures are concerned. And well, again, in terms of its performance, it has gained, but well, not too much. Around 3% gains in the last 30-odd days. Aditya, I'll toss this over to you. How would you advise the viewer to go about MCX?
Well, this stock is looking extremely range bound. I mean, 750 on the higher side, 720, 715 on lower side. This is a broad range for this counter. I mean, if we see the last 1 month range, it is in the range of 700 to 745, 750 levels. So at the current level, stock is exactly mid of the range. So I won't be initiating any long or short positions. Yes, if a stock comes around 720, 715, around those levels, one can look to initiate long position, but not at current levels. Around 715, one can buy with stop loss of 698. On higher side, 645, 745, 750 is the target. But right now, I would avoid this counter.
And I think we have time to introduce one more query, and we have Bikash Pekare's query here. He says he's got one lot of the Nifty 10,950 call and 7 lots of the Bank Nifty 27,500 calls, and he wants to view. And I'm assuming that when he says that he has these, that means that he's bought these. So, well, Ashish, he's bought the 10,950 call at 72. And he also has a Bank Nifty 27,500 call at 140. What's your advice to him?
So as I mentioned, 10,900 would be an important level. If it breaks, then I think he should cut his long positions in this 10,950 call. If it doesn't break this 10,900, he should continue holding it. And once Nifty crosses 11,000, that will add him a lot of comfort. So that time he can ride this trend to maybe on upside towards 11,100 to 150 zone.
Okay, fair enough. And you say the same thing about the Bank Nifty too at 27,500. That's the call that he's taken right now.
So here I think the level which I would like to watch would be 27,100. Keep that as a trading stop loss. If 27,100 gets broken down, then I think he should exit his Bank Nifty call option.
All right. Well, there you have it, Bikash. I hope that helps you. But on that note, I'm going to thank both our experts, Aditya and Ashish, for joining us and taking us through their views. And well, that's a wrap on this edition of the F&O Show. But for more news and updates, stay tuned to Bloomberg.